Lee Ermey, the Marine who became a Hollywood legend. I love this guy, man. Oh, what is it? Full Metal Jacket. Love that movie. I didn't even know the first part with R. Lee Ermey was even like a thing. When I first watched it, I saw the second part. I saw the war part, and I completely missed all of the funny bits at the beginning and the messed up stuff with Pyle. But I also remember a lot of the commercials and seeing him in just random movies. So let's check it out. What's this video about? Forgotten History. I haven't watched this channel in a very long time. I'm gonna give it a like. 10th Legion Pictures.
Boot camp. For generations of Marines, it's been the forge, the place where boys and girls are broken down
and eat crayons
and rebuilt into something harder than steel. It's chaos.
That too.
Order, fear, and pride.
And a little bit of gay stuff. I mean, not gay stuff.
All rolled into one. And at the center of it stands a single figure, the drill instructor. Their voice is law. Their presence, absolute. Every Marine remembers the first time they locked eyes with their drill instructor. Because in that moment, you realize this isn't a movie. This is the real thing. Over the years, Hollywood tried to capture that intensity.
With Major Payne? No, wait.
The discipline, the terror, the transformation. But only once did they ever get it right. Because
I've seen a lot of war movies. I've seen a lot of military movies in general, a lot of military comedies.
Man they put in front of the camera didn't have to act. He'd already lived it. His name was R. Lee Ermey, and he became the face, the voice, and the spirit of the United States Marine Corps to millions who never served a day in uniform. But who was he before Hollywood found him? And how did one Marine turn a lifetime of discipline?
Wasn't he instructing the actor drill instructor? Wasn't that how this all happened?
To cinematic legend. Let's try and find out.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
Cool. You better like this video, you jackwagon! It's a pretty good intro. Kind of Resident Evil-like.
R. Lee Ermey,
in a way,
was born on March 24th, 1944.
Oh, we're going all the way back.
In Emporia, Kansas, but grew up in the small farming town of Zillow, Washington.
Hey, I grew up in a small farming town. Not in Washington, it was in Arkansas.
Life there was simple, hard, and honest.
Yep.
The kind that either tamed you or toughened you.
Yep.
For young Ermey, it did the latter. By his teenage years, he developed a reputation as a handful, loud, restless, and constantly testing limits. He tore up back roads in fast cars, got into fights, and was arrested more than once for vandalism and reckless driving.
No.
Before long, the locals...
I did a lot of those things. I didn't do the vandalism thing, but all the rest of that stuff, I totally did. Underage drinking, going to parties, getting into fights. Oh, yeah.
Sheriff knew him by
I was definitely rowdy.
name. At 17, after yet another run-in with the law, a judge finally gave him an ultimatum. Spend time in jail or enlist in the military.
Damn, he must have done something real bad, because, like, that didn't happen to me.
Ermey didn't hesitate. He chose the Marines, and it changed everything.
I probably, instead of going to jail, I probably would have joined the Marines, too.
He enlisted in 1961 and was sent to Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego.
I wish they would have gave me that option when they put me in jail. I would have much rather taken that option. I would have signed my life away for years rather than do that time that I did in jail.
The transformation was immediate. The wild teenager who once clashed with authority was suddenly surrounded by it and thrived. The discipline, the order, the sense of purpose, it all stuck. After training, He served as an aircraft mechanic and later earned a billet as a drill instructor, one of the toughest, most respected jobs in the Corps.
My grandpa was a drill instructor. He loved it.
He turned that same rebellious fire into command presence, molding recruits into Marines. In 1968, he deployed to Vietnam with the Marine Wing Support Squadron 17, stationed at...
There's a lot of similarities between R. Lee Ermey and my grandpa. Other than the whole being an actor thing, up until that point, there was a lot of similarities. My grandpa definitely had a very similar voice, but more southern United States.
Keeping aircraft operational.
He had an Arkansas, Texas accent.
Under the strain of war. He was part of the machine that made those missions possible. Long hours, constant pressure, and the unrelenting tempo of the combat zone. Ermey served more than a decade in uniform, rising to the rank of staff sergeant. But years of hard service and injuries eventually took their toll. In 1972, he was medically discharged, an ending that hit him harder than he expected. He said that leaving the Marines felt like losing family, but the discipline and intensity of the Corps had burned into him and it would never fade. In fact, it was about to take him somewhere no Marine drill instructor had ever gone, straight into Hollywood history.
Yeah, because that was like really the rise of war movies. I mean, we had war movies before that and way before that, but the actual, like, it almost felt like you were there in a lot of these movies.
Leaving the Corps, Ermey...
Like, very, very high quality, without actually having to go to the battle itself, because we got a lot of those too.
struggled to find his footing in civilian life. Like many veterans, he missed the structure, the camaraderie, and the mission. So he followed a path that few would have expected. He moved overseas, settling in the Philippines.
Not a bad place.
It was just a change of...
Well, I don't know about now, but like, I know some people in the Philippines that I talked to years ago. I haven't talked to them in a few years, but life was good. This was before COVID.
Scenery.
I don't know what happened since
then. But the country's growing film industry, particularly its reputation for hosting war movies, soon caught his attention. He enrolled in the University of Manila on a GI Bill, studying criminology and drama. That combination might sound odd, but for Ermey, it made sense. He wanted to understand people, what drove them, what broke them, and performing gave him an outlet for the intensity he once used on the drill field. His first break came when director Francis Ford Coppola began filming Apocalypse Now in 1976.
Oh, yeah.
Ermey was hired as a military technical advisor, responsible for keeping the actors in line and making the chaos of the Vietnam War look authentic. It didn't take long for people on set to realize that Ermey wasn't just another consultant, he was the real deal. Cast and crew members later recalled that he commanded the same authority off-screen that he once had in boot camp. When he spoke, people snapped to attention. When he gave orders, extras moved like Marines. His energy was contagious, and it got him noticed. Soon, small acting roles followed. He appeared in Apocalypse Now as a helicopter pilot, then landed a few minor parts in low-budget films throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s.
Yeah, this is where he got his big break, was this movie, I believe. Is this Full Metal Jacket here?
There were small steps, but they were building towards something much bigger. Then, in 1986, Stanley Kubrick began production of...
Kubrick is one of my favorite directors of all time.
Full Metal Jacket. Ermey was hired to train the actors playing recruits, to shape them into believable Marines. But when Kubrick saw footage of Ermey barking real drill commands between takes, he realized no actor could match his authenticity. The consultant had just earned himself the most iconic role of his life. During the filming of Full Metal Jacket, Ermey insisted on complete realism. He drilled the young actors like real recruits, 10-hour days of marching, shouting, and discipline. The result was tension.
That's really cool that they actually treated it like it was military. Probably nowhere near like the military does it, but still, 10 hours a day, that's crazy.
And fear. Exactly what Kubrick wanted on screen. More than half of Ermey's lines were improvised, drawn from his own years on the drill field. Phrases like, "What's your major malfunction?" "You will not laugh. You will not cry," came directly from his experience shaping Marines. His rhythm, timing, and control turned into something unforgettable. Critics
And like just the way he yells stuff, dude.
and audiences were stunned. His portrayal of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman became one of cinema's most iconic military
Absolute cinema.
performance. Terrifying, magnetic, and strangely honorable. For many Marines, watching Full Metal Jacket felt like watching boot camp all over again. The performance earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor. But for Ermey, the recognition wasn't about fame. He saw it as a chance to represent the Corps with pride. He often said, "I'm not an actor, I'm just a Marine who happens to play one."
That's really
His
cool.
voice, his bearing, his command presence, they all became part of pop culture. From late
Yup.
night shows to video games and commercials, the Gunny's voice could cut
What video games? Wait, hold on. What video games was he in? I have to check this. Hold on. Arlie Ermey video games. He was in Toy Story 2, Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex, Fallout Tactics, okay, Call of Duty Ghosts, Toy Story 3. Oh, he was Sergeant RL3 in Fallout 3. Lieutenant Ermey, World of Warcraft. Yeah, I didn't know this. Speaks signature lines from Full Metal Jacket, paying homage to his legacy. That's really fucking cool. Yeah, I had no idea.
through noise like a rifle report. And in every appearance, he carried that same respect for the uniform and the Marines who wore it. For Arlie Ermey, Full Metal Jacket wasn't just a role. It was a salute to the Corps that made him who he was. He could have coasted on that single performance. Instead, he worked harder than ever. Hollywood quickly realized that when they needed authenticity, the real sound, look, and attitude of a Marine, they called the Gunny. Ermey went on to appear in more than 60 films and television projects. He played authority figures, sergeants,
This looks familiar. I think I've seen this before. What is this from?
sheriffs, and soldiers, roles that fit like a uniform. His appearances in Mississippi Burning, Seven, and the Texas Chainsaw
Oh, it was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Michael Bay one.
Massacre remake showed his range, while his voice acting in Toy Soldier introduced him to a new
That's right. Okay, I remember now.
generation. Even as a plastic toy soldier, his delivery was unmistakable.
Dude, it's been so long since I watched Toy Story. I might check that out again. I usually don't check out Disney stuff, but old Disney stuff, I have a soft place. There's a place in my heart for old Disney stuff. New Disney stuff, get that shit out of here.
But Ermey wasn't content with scripted lines. In 2002, he began hosting Mail Call on the History Channel, a show that allowed him to do what he loved most: educate, entertain, and share traditions of the military.
My grandpa 1000% watched this show. He used to watch everything that was coming on History until everything became Ancient Aliens and Modern Marvels.
Standing in front of tanks, aircraft, and historical weapons, he explained the tools of war with the same booming enthusiasm he once used on recruits. Later, he hosted Lock and Load and Gunny Time, deepening his reputation as America's favorite Marine. That same year, the Marine Corps honored him with something extraordinary, an honorary promotion to Gunnery Sergeant.
That's
It was a
crazy.
rank he had lived up to in spirit for decades, and the recognition meant more to him than any film award ever could. And off camera,
Yeah, I mean, like, he deserved it because he basically, like, put good sentiment on the military again. For the longest time, because of Vietnam, like, everybody had bad taste in their mouth about military. And this guy pretty much single-handedly brought military back into the pop culture.
he dedicated himself to supporting veterans. He traveled to bases, hospitals, and memorial
What a
events,
G.
shaking hands with Marines and thanking them for their service. He was known for his generosity, his humor, and his unshakable pride in the Corps. Even as his health began to decline, he never slowed down. He continued appearing at Marine Corps balls and public events, often closing his speeches with the same message: once a Marine, always a Marine. On April 15,
Beautiful.
2018, Ermey passed away from complications of pneumonia at the age of 74. News of his death spread quickly
Yeah, I remember it.
through both Hollywood and the military community. For Marines, it felt personal.
Yeah, I went through and I watched a whole bunch of movies that he was in. I missed Toy Story somehow.
They hadn't just lost a familiar face, they'd lost one of their own. Tributes poured in from across the world. The Marine Corps issued an official statement honoring his decades of service and dedication. Fans left messages on his social media pages, thanking him for inspiring them to enlist or for representing the Corps with dignity. Many said that for years, when they thought of a Marine, they pictured the gunny.
Whenever I think of the Marines, I think of his character in Full Metal Jacket.
He was laid to rest
And
with
just like the military in general, I just immediately think of R. Lee.
full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, a fitting resting place for a man who never stopped serving. Today, R. Lee Ermey's voice still echoes in movies, in history programs, and in the memories of Marines who grew up watching him. His legacy isn't measured in film credits or awards, but in respect he earned from men and women who understood exactly what he stood for. He once said, "A May
Yeah, I know a lot of guys like this. I highly respect them. I highly respect this man. What were you about to say?
and women who understood exactly what he stood for." He once said, "I may have retired from the Marine Corps, but the Marine Corps will never retire from me."
Yeah, one of my really good friends from school is a Marine. And yeah, I got so much respect for that dude.
And for millions who watch him turn discipline to art, that statement still holds true. R. Lee Ermey was more than a performer. He embodied what it meant to serve with pride, to lead by example, and to live as a Marine until the very end. Let us know your thoughts on R. Lee.
That's like the purest American culture of all time. It's just like this. This right here is just so purely American. I can't explain it. It's so hard to explain how much I love the vibes of like old military. New military, it's kind of all the same. But old military, oh fuck yeah. I'll watch some old documentaries, I'll watch some old movies. These vibes, I just love it so much. In another life, I am a Marine. Not this one though, I was too much of a pussy.